Next up, we're going to be watching recreating the assassination attempt on Donald Trump in YouTube. This is all educational and stuff because recently I have noticed on Twitter that there have been a lot of people that are saying that it was faked again.
July 13th, 2024, a mere week and a half ago, former President Trump is holding a rally in Pennsylvania, a vital swing state. He is prepared to accept the Republican nomination in several days. Just minutes into his speech, shots ring out. 3 shots very close together. A round strikes Trump's ear. He ducks. A very amazing man, Corey Comprador, loses his life as an extra 5 shots ring out. Thomas Crook, the shooter, is then eliminated, as far as we know, by a Secret Service counter-sniper team. A lot of things have occurred.
Counter-sniper team did take
a lot of
way too long to do it.
It was people who don't understand ballistics.
One thing that isn't up for debate is that this was a massive failing on the Secret Service. And the Secret Service has had a lot of different failings throughout the time in recent decades. This was the worst one though yet, obviously.
Who don't understand how guns work. Here at Garand Thumb, my name is Mike. I'm a former Air Force Special Warfare guy. And we have Charles.
I would describe myself in a couple ways. One, I'm a veteran. On certain days there's free breakfast. And also, I'm a Secret Service agent.
Charles.
Why didn't you stop him?
Shooter. Of course, we have Micah. How would you describe yourself, Micah?
I shoot thousands of rounds a week and play video games. That's my life.
Together, me, Charles, and Micah have fired well over 100,000 rounds as of this year alone. So we shoot a lot. We do a lot of ballistic testing. And today, we're going to be recreating the assassination attempt. We're going to be testing ballistics. We're going to be debunking myths, and we're going to be providing the best facts that we currently have as of today. You have to understand, this didn't occur that long ago. Facts are subject to change as more information is released, but from what we know right now, we're as close as we can get to recreating the actual event. Today on Garand Thumb, we recreate the assassination attempt and we test all the myths. Now, before we get into it, we of course have to thank the sponsors. They keep this content free. We have who, Charles?
The Smug Dykes Institute.
The Sonoran Desert Institute. If you're looking to get your start in gunsmithing, they're the people to go to. And Micah, who can we not forget?
Primary Arms, providing with any optics that you might need to also pull a attempted assassin.
There you have it. Now, we recommend getting better at shooting, unlike the assassin. So we recommend...
Oh, they can't.
Charles,
they're no longer on this earth.
Mantis, help you get better. For all those doctors in Chicago.
There you have it. And Mantis will turn your weapon into a dry fire machine. We'll be showing it today. And of course, all ammunition provided for by AAC. Let's get into it. So let's go over some quick events right here. We know that Thomas Crooks, the assassin attempter, was spotted at the rally early on with a rangefinder. A rangefinder is going to allow him to gauge the distance of the shot, which is extremely important. Now,
also, apparently, when he found out where Trump was going to be having the rally at, he went to the location based off of the information they got from his phone, was that he went to the location most likely to survey it. Obviously, we don't know why he was there, but likely much earlier, like a week or so earlier, to survey it. But he got there like a day before, or a day or a few days before, maybe it was 3 days, before the Secret Service got there to start setting things up and, understanding the location, and then obviously keep an eye on it up until the days leading up to the rally. So they missed him by just like a day or two. It was, they gave too far of a heads up notice, it seems, to prevent that. They weren't adequately ready to secure the area ahead of the announcement, which was one of their first major mistakes.
We know that between an hour to 30 minutes is when he gained access to the event.
Because obviously they may not have stopped him, but they would have been like, why is this person surveying the area? They would have had at least a little bit of understanding of like, we need to keep an eye on it for him, or maybe even stop him for questioning. I don't know.
He climbed onto the roof somewhere around 30 minutes prior to. Now, it gets a little hazy at that point. There's still a lot of information coming out, but what we do know is that right before he shot, or he was forced to shoot, two officers attempted to see who was on the roof. When officers boosted up to peek over the roof, they saw Thomas Crooks, who was approximately between 130 to 150 yards away from President Trump. When the cop peeked over the top, Thomas Crooks turned his rifle towards him. The cop dropped back down. Thomas then turned back, got behind the rifle, and from the first shot to his demise was 10 seconds. He fired 3 initial shots. One grazed Trump's ear. At that point, the Secret Service was able to dive onto Trump to protect them with their bodies. And then he fired 5 more rapid fire, during which time I would say a hero, Corey Comprador, dove upon his family to protect their lives. And we really do have to point out that a really great man did lose his life.
I do not.
Now, at that point,
How dare you have?
Thomas Crooks was eliminated. So
No,
what
it was
we're gonna be
not
testing
staged.
today is recreating both the assassination attempt as well as debunking a lot of theories that we've heard. So we're going to start with debunking those theories.
The first theory that we're going to debunk, which is
Is this hat gonna go away? There it goes.
incredibly ignorant because it's promoted by those who don't understand weapons at all, is that this was staged and the shooter, Thomas Cucks, actually wanted
Trump getting shot was completely staged. He wouldn't stop looking in that direction. What does that mean? What is this? It was completely staged. Obviously, someone who could make that shot wouldn't miss if they were intending to kill him. Why was he looking in that direction? So they're saying that the person, like I said, that they actually shot it, and either Trump is moving or the guy is intending to miss that freaking close. What are they on? Like, if it's gonna be staged, if I'm a guy who's gonna stage an assassination attempt on me, I don't want an actual bullet being fired at me. I'm just saying, okay? Can we just make some noise or something? That just seems kind of ridiculous.
to hit Trump's ear and nothing else for the optics of the occasion, right? To get a boost in the polls. We're going to debunk that, and I think those watching who may disagree with the whole event as it actually happens are going to be very surprised on how not possible a shot like that is.
Let's delve into it. Now, there is some concern about how far was the shooter from President Trump. That's still being figured out. But right now we have it about the midpoint of 140 yards. So right here, what we have is your typical lower tiered AR. So the shooter had a inexpensive AR-15. So the first thing that we have to understand is that rounds, when they are fired, do not travel and hit the exact point every time. There are inconsistencies in the manufacturing of the slug and the amount of powder charge in the brass and how the barrel is flexing as that slug travels down it. So how we describe that as a shooter is there is essentially a circle. So if I'm aiming at the center point, there is an inherent accuracy that a rifle has a potential for. This is typically measured in inches at 100 yards. So your typical AR-15, your typical military M4 will have about 2 to 3 inch circle that it can reliably fire into at 100 yards. Okay. So being that Thomas was using an AR-15, a lower grade one, that's probably closer to the 3-inch mark, or as a shooter would say, the 3 MOA mark. So you have to understand at 140, that's going to be approximately 4.5 to 5 inches at 140 to 150 yards. So when we talk about a shot that's going to be piercing the ear, that is mechanically for the weapon going to be impossible to make that precise of a shot. Now, there are weapons that do have that precision and that can do it, but is an AR-15 going to be able to do that? Micah, your typical bottom of the barrel?
Absolutely not.
So what we're going to do is we're going to show that first with a lower tiered AR, and then we'll bring out one of the most accurate AR-15s that we have, and we will attempt that. And even our most accurate AR-15s are shooting about 0.8 of an inch at 150.
Still over an inch.
Still over the size of the ear, especially given the angle. Trump's ears are kind of large, but you know,
Damn.
It is what it is. Okay, I'm going to be taking 3 shots now, and I want to be very clear. I cannot even see the ears.
Oh my god! Yeah, because he doesn't have a scope. He just used
if I was intentionally
a
trying
laser
to shoot them,
sight.
this would be a hard shot. All right, Charles, you on glass?
I'm glad.
On you.
Missed.
Okay, I'm over 3 shots.
Oh wait, did he hit him? Oh no, he hit him. Trump's dead. Nah, that's a flesh wound. Nah,
Okay,
that's
so
just
to
a
be
neck
clear,
wound. It's fine.
we're using about your factory standard ammo, which isn't super accurate either. And even the same aiming point at this, I'm I'm not precise enough to make
It had a
reliable
scope? I
hits,
was told that
let
it
alone
didn't.
on
Maybe
the
maybe that's new information since last time I heard about it, because I heard that what he had didn't increase how well he could see. Maybe that's new info, but the last time I heard about it is that he didn't have anything that made it so that he could see further easily. But regardless, at the time of this recording, they were going under the information that I also heard, which is he just had a scope that literally was just a dot for them to see.
very small inside box of the head, which is where the CNS is and everything, but let alone the ear. What I'll do at this point is I'm going to break out our most accurate weapon with the most accurate ammunition we
He
have,
definitely
and a
didn't have
magnified optic. I'm going to attempt
Pretty
to
sure.
make this shot.
Could be wrong. Maybe new info came out that I didn't hear
We have
about.
an infinitely better gun. We have what's called a Mark 12. This is very accurate, firing 77 grain Sierra Match Kings. About as accurate.
Yeah, I
as
heard
you
he
get,
had
and
just
you know
a
what?
red dot
I'm a
sight,
much
which is
better
just
shot than that
a way to
bitch.
have like a
So,
dot.
Let's
that
get
you can
this
see.
shot.
Ooh. Oh, I thought that fly was the bullet.
So I'm trying not to hit the head right now because obviously I don't want to kill my target if I'm just trying to maim him.
Left ear or right ear?
Right, the left ear.
He's dead.
About half an inch off the ear.
Was that through his head?
Yeah.
Well, you failed your mission.
There we go.
Yeah, I did it. Okay. Well, in a high-stress situation, after
He's
having
obviously
just been
faking
surprised by a
it.
cop-
Obviously he's faking it. He totally could have made that shot on the first try with the first gun, I bet. He's just trying. He missed on purpose. I'm an angry Twitter comment.
I swing around my highly precise Mark 12 rifle as a trained military shooter, and I'm able to hit
you were
the air
totally
after putting
faking
around
it. My
to
God.
former President Trump's head. This
That's
is
my
not
sarcastic
realistic, guys.
voice, if you didn't
For
realize.
the weapon that he used, it was not possible. This makes it more likely, but still not a guarantee. He would have needed a precision weapon to make the shot. This is 100% false. He did not try to hit the ear. That was merely a miss. I would say an act of God, because Trump's going to be president. The next myth that we're going to bust is the
we'll
myth
see.
that his ear would have
I'm not gonna get political, but it's
from the force of the projectile either coming close
going all over the place
or
now.
impacting his ear. So what we have right here is ballistics gelatin. This is an approximation of human flesh. So right here we have about 1 inch in thickness, and this is going to replicate the cartilage of the ear. This is actually a fairly good analog. And we're actually going to be a little bit closer to the shooter, clearly, but this actually is going to impart more force onto the quote-unquote ear. So we're going to be starting with more than likely what he used, which is a 55 grain projectile, and we'll then walk it up to an even more powerful hunting type projectile to see how those both would affect cartilage.
When Mike originally proposed something in inch thickness, I was willing to stand in front of that shot.
That hit it?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You couldn't even tell it hit.
Okay, so let's take a look at that right here. Here is our impact, and there is the clean hole. There is the clean exit. Now, you might be confused. You might be wondering to yourself, why did this do so little damage? Well, it actually comes down to how the 5.56 works. The 5.56 is an incredibly lethal round. However, it needs to reach those vital organs in the body before it begins to impart its damage. So 5.56, when it enters the human body or enters flesh,
AOE.
typically doesn't begin to tumble for at least 6 to 10 inches, at which point the round will begin to break apart, will begin to spin and
watching
yaw,
a
and that's
video.
by design. So hitting such a thin piece of flesh, this is par for the course for 5.56, where it doesn't do that much damage and it pencils in and out. In fact, with certain rounds, even through very skinny individuals, they'll pass in and out without imparting
I
a
hope your
whole
work is going
lot
well,
of
AOE.
damage.
Well,
the
hope
next
it
question
goes well.
is
This just got there.
some people have said if Trump hadn't have turned his head,
Yeah,
that
if he
round
had,
would have passed through the back of his skull.
everyone has seen this video. I'm assuming it's very accurate to it, but everyone's seen it. If he didn't move his head at that exact moment, he's probably dead, or if he survives, probably not gonna be able to run a campaign.
Let's go ahead and let's see.
We have
I don't know how they made this,
particular
but,
rifle, magazine out and capable of firing. So what we're doing is we're looking through a high-powered optic to kind of better visualize it. But in our sight picture, we have Charles. So if I'm aiming at the
my
head,
God.
you can see as he's turning that's vastly changing my shot from the head, the temple, to the ear. And given the variability of the AR-15 when it's firing, there's going to be a very stark difference between that impact due to the mechanical accuracy problems with the AR-15. So we just wanted to visualize that for you guys with a nice
Now
optic.
take the shot!
You can imagine
Don't do it, don't do it, don't actually do it.
how difficult that would be.
Do you have a friend who's difficult to buy for, or are you indecisive in yourself and you just want to get a cool box of gun-related and tactical stuff? Well, do we have product for you? Now, this video is brought to you by TacPack. TacPack is a subscription service. There are 2 tiers. First tier is going to cost you about $60. You're going to get between $90 to $120 value per box. And the second tier is going to cost $139.99.
What do people think about loot boxes like this? Because that's what they are, right? They're loot boxes.
We just opened up. We got a lot of cool stuff. We got
it's kind of like gambling, isn't it?
We have a radiant charging handle, which is our personal favorite here on the channel. Nice BCG, and you can never have enough bolt carrier groups. We have some gloves in here, of course, a shirt, a Reptilia grip. These are all great products. We're not getting bottom of the barrel stuff. You never know what you're gonna get, but it is always helpful.
Yeah, so you don't know what you're gonna get.
Make sure if you're ordering,
like I get that it's themed, but like I want to know what I'm buying. This is IRL loot boxes, which, funny enough, I remember like years ago, there was a gaming / nerd-related version of the thing called a loot crate or whatever. These are IRL loot boxes. I don't understand the appeal.
Code Garand Thumb. That's gonna give you a free EDC kit worth over $65. Now, my favorite part, we're gonna be showing the counter sniper shot on Thomas Crooks that took his life for being a ginormous piece of shit. So what we have right here is a Mark 13 Mod 5. Now, the Secret Service counter sniper teams use a Mark 13 Mod 7, the difference being in a newer chassis, but it is the same heart of the weapon. We still have a Remington 700 long action and 300 Winchester Magnum.
I thought that was phase connect on the fucking scope.
You have 5.56, so we have a 5.56 round right here. That's from your typical AR-15 that Thomas Crooks is firing. Like you versus the guy she told you not to worry about.
Damn.
This is a long-range precision cartridge. This weapon is deadly accurate, as we can see. And this will regularly print far under an inch on paper at 100 and can easily make those very precise small shots, which is why it is used not just by the Secret Service, but by multiple military special operations around the world. Now, the shot from the counter sniper team was actually quite close at about 130 yards. Now, we know from the first shots that Thomas Crooks took to 10 seconds later, he was then dead. That is wonderful reaction time. Let's go ahead and let's see what that would have looked like through the optic.
Good reaction time on that.
In slow motion.
Very bad reaction time on
damage it would have
stopping it from ever
happening. A lot
happening.
of variables here. We do have the photo of Thomas Crooks post-mortem, although we can't show it due to YouTube rules. But there are some unknowns, but we believe right now the round entered somewhere around just below his left temple and exited somewhere around his neck. Again, ballistics is wild. We might not see the same, we probably will not see the same results with this particular shot, but it will give you an indication of just how
they had also
powerful.
like they had an officer obviously encountered him before the shot, but they also had seen him in the crowd, but they lost him. I think unless this information changed, okay, unless new information came out, from what I have heard, like this happened, the information that was released like a multiple weeks after it, when the hearings were started with the Secret Service, it was said that they had encountered him twice, I think, but lost him in the crowd. They saw him suspiciously with the rangefinder and called it in, but lost him in the crowd. I can't remember if that was exactly the Secret Service or the police officers, but they did send that information to the Secret Service via text messages and did have a response to it. So they were aware that there is somebody they needed to keep an eye out for. And whoever it was looking for him kept losing them at least twice, if I'm not mistaken. And the issue was that they were unsure of who was in ownership of the building in terms of like who had the responsibility of that building. So even when they knew that there might have been someone on the building, they were like, okay, who is on that building? Is that our guys? Their guys that are the officers? What's going on? And it was a shit show on that front, to the point that all of the miscommunication, not the miscommunication necessarily, but the misunderstanding of who was the ownership for covering that building there, as well as losing him in the crowd at least twice, led to the shot even being able to be made. So, yeah.
The 300 Winchester Magnum is.
So right here we have the Mark 13.
Regardless of anything, I think the same thing that everyone should be able to agree on
paper so that you guys can see
is it was a failing of the Secret
the
Service.
recoil looks like through the optic. As I'm firing, you can see what I see.
Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot at the paper so you guys can see what that looks like.
Goodness.
And that was straight through the head right there. And what we're going to look at now is you're going to look at what a head would look like at the approximate zoom range that he was at through his optic. So a couple things to note here is that it looked like there are two positions for the lever on the Night Force ATACR that they were running. So we have it at the second position.
That clearly missed.
We could be off on our magnification level compared to where they were at. They were probably
You clearly missed that, you're right.
To get like a wide picture of what was going on. But nonetheless, this is good for illustrative purposes.
God, that
now,
sound is always so
shot
cool.
so you can see what that recoil looks like. And as you can see, this gun is
It kind of does look like he missed because of the smoke
we're going to go
cloud.
ahead and take a shot at the skull so you can see what the Secret Service counter sniper would have seen through his optic as he sent another person to hell.
All right.
Oh my god. No more skull. That's just instantly you are dead. They're just gone.
So as you can see, through the optic, we had a whole lot of mist. The head was completely vaporized. Now you have to understand that depending on the ammunition that was used, a lot of factors, the head can behave differently when it's hit depending on where. If it's more of a fleshy portion, you're not going to blow up the brain quite as much. But this is good illustrative to show the extreme power of the 300 Winchester Magnum and the fact that if you notice, I didn't do any holds. That means I wasn't have to aim above or below depending on where the round was going to impact, because within about the first 300 you have very little drop. The 300 Winchester Magnum is an absolute laser beam at these distances. The ammunition that we were using was military ammunition known as Mark 248 Mod 0. This is a possibility, or they could have been using even better civilian ammunition that would have been more accurate. So a good representation. In any case, the counter sniper team did excellent. They sent that man to hell, and no more damage was done than was already done, and much tragedy was averted. So with all those things being done, let's go ahead and let's wrap this up.
It was faked! I'm kidding, it wasn't.
We've finished all of our tests. I think we've conclusively
They obviously
proven
faked
that
all of this.
He did try to take the shot.
This entire video was staged. They intentionally missed on the other part. This is all fake. It was aliens that staged it for Trump and blah 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 Twitter comments.
There's no way that he was able to try to shoot Trump's ear, that anything so far that would indicate that this was a hoax. An amazing
Actually,
man died.
Donald Trump. Sorry, I have to. Actually, Donald Trump was a stand user, and he used his stand to deflect the bullet at the last second. And the shooter knew that. That's why he took the shot. This was all staged, and Donald Trump is a JoJo.
He wasn't just not firing. So we've been able to educate you, to provide context, to provide ballistic performance so that you understand better what was going on behind the shooting as we know right now. Obviously more information doesn't come out. If something crazy comes out that changes everything, we'll do another video. But as it stands right now and the information that we have, this is pretty true to form. We're not going to make any comments on tactics, procedures, or anything like that, because my background is on protective security details. That was never my background. My background is in firearms. My background is in ballistics and military. So we'll leave that to other experts to talk about, but we just wanted to provide that firearm context. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We have tons of cool content. Please go and check it out. Many more good things coming. And as always, stay cool, have a good time with your family, and we got nothing else for you guys.
All right. No, Mike, don't you play that. Don't you play a second shot. Second video right there. No. All right. Well, as you can see, it was not staged. It was just a horrible tragedy that should have been completely averted if the Secret Service had done a better job leading up to the shooting with better communication and everything. But unfortunately, that is not what happened at that time. But if whenever Twitter decides to make a hashtag staged trend again, because I don't know why it was trending like 2 days ago. But if they do that again, just direct them towards these videos and everything. And they'll probably still say that it was fake, because regardless of whatever aisle in the political spectrum you lean on, there will always be people on that side that will always believe anything that is counterintuitive to their beliefs is faked, or bullshit, or a lie, or anything like that, because it's just how people work for some reason. But hope you enjoyed it. Go check out the videos. And if you like it, maybe like, subscribe, comment, yada, yada, yada. Come by the Discord and maybe even live streams live. But until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. And stay awesome, y'all.